Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how I study Korean using my website JT Language. Now I studied Korean some 14 years ago for a few months. I recently picked it up again and I'm trying to improve, try to get to a point where I can have simple conversations. This video will also be an introduction to some of the new features in my JT Language website, especially some new AI-based features. So let's get started. This is like the front page you see if you go to my website and you haven't logged in. To use the new features, you'll need to register an account, which is free, and you can do that by going to the register link up here. If you're already registered, you can just log in. And you'll see that I've got a few more buttons here. Now before we get into it, just a word about navigation and some of the way and how I organize content in JT Language. This is what I call my big button menu, where you can navigate to kind of like submenus by clicking on the buttons. Alternatively, you can use the drop-down menus to navigate to the same pages. So I'm going to hit the lessons button. Which brings me to the lessons page, and I'll hit the courses button. Now a course is what I call in JT Language the kind of the highest level content unit. I envision it can be, it doesn't have to be a real language course, but it can be just a collection of lessons and groups of lessons and so forth arbitrarily. I've created a few courses already for my Korean study, such as this one where I make some lessons from some YouTube videos. I do some sentence practice here. I'm also using italki to talk to a tutor, practice Korean. I put our dialogue, or the stuff that the tutor types in here. But my main focus is this one here, John's Korean Stuff, which I even gave its own unique icon. If I click on that, that takes me to the course page. Now a course is a hierarchical thing. You can break it up into lessons, which are shown by this little open book icon here. This is a tree control for their hierarchy. And you can also kind of subgroup lessons into a lesson group, which is like what I have here. Let me open one of these. For example, for time, I've broken it up into lessons for different aspects of time. You can even arbitrarily nest them. So here's like a doubly nested set of groups. Recently, I created a group called Conversation, where I started collecting some content that is AI generated. Some of this other content I grabbed from YouTube video subtitles or other web pages, or I entered it myself. But this one is purely AI. For example, you got travel phrases, got first conversation sentences, for example. This one I studied yesterday, travel phrases. I actually gave it 50 travel phrases, which is kind of a lot for one lesson. And so this page, you can see that this is a lesson, and these items under the lesson are basically content items. It could be a text items like this, which I call study lists. A study item being a word or a sentence or a paragraph. Or it could be audio or video content here. In addition, it could be document content, which we'll look at later. So, for example, this is what I have in the sentences study list. These individual things are study items. And you've got the audio.
안녕하세요. 저는 한국에 여행 왔어요.
You can play the audio slow.
저는 한국에 여행
Stop it. And this little question mark item is a new feature in JJ Language, the first AI feature that I'll show you. If I click that, it comes up with this pop-up which shows you the study item here in all the languages. And you can ask a question here by typing it into here and then clicking this button. For example, say in what is the ending for? Unfortunately, the AI is a bit slow sometimes. And sometimes there's other processing that takes longer, like word parsing. So here in the explanation window, it put in my question here in blue italics. And then here is the response from the AI saying that the E is a subject particle. And because the AI got the study item, it can use that as context and actually quote stuff from it. Now this explanation pane is also kind of like a dialogue. I can ask another question and it will show up here, or I can use one of these other buttons. For example, explain will basically break up the sentence into its component parts and explain them. So we got 한국은 이번이 and so forth, and at the bottom it might give some additional comments on the sentence as a whole. Again, I could ask another question here. Suppose that you think that this question might, not be the best translation or might be an error. You can hit the check button. And it will give you some feedback about the sentence. It's curious that it generated a sentence, but it has some complaints here. Oh, this last thing, I guess I use my own romanization, which will put a space between a word and its particles. So I'll just close this. When we go look at actually creating content, there's also a different check button that will also make a suggested correction such that you can just save it and continue. We'll look at that later. So I've got my sentences here. Again, I generated these by AI, and I will show you how to do that later. What I did yesterday is I went through and I clicked on words I didn't know. For example, 혹시. I didn't know that word, so I clicked on it here. Like you see, I've got the hover over definitions. So I clicked on the word,
영어,
got this page, and I clicked Save To, which saved it to the word vocabulary list. Now I've already done that, so I won't click it again, but let's go over here to the words vocabulary, and you'll see there's Hokshi, which was the first thing I clicked on. And again, you have audio and you have the question button. Often what I'll do, like if I want to study sentences, but to kind of make it a little easier, if the sentences have words I don't know, I can study the words vocabulary first. I can use the flashcards for this. So I can hit either this go study list button here, or the equivalent is down here under the words vocabulary study list item. There's an item with a little, like a person sitting at a computer desk, word study. I can just click that as well. And that takes me to the tool page. I have multiple tools which you can select from this drop down menu here. Unfortunately, for some reason the pop-up menu doesn't show. I guess because it's a different video buffer. But there's a few different tools. But 99% of the time I use the flashcards. So I have other videos that talk about the other tools. So we'll stick with this one. And up here you have the config menu. You can configure have different kind of predefined flashcard configurations. It creates a whole bunch of them with this kind of cryptic thing that gives you an idea of what's in there. For example, this one shows for the front page of the card, it shows the Korean, and if I click the show,
혹시
it shows the backside, which shows the romanization and the English, and also plays the audio. Now, if I knew the word, I can click one of the higher buttons for grading. These buttons are for grading how well you know it. Like at the time, I didn't know Hokshi, so I probably clicked 1. And when I click that, it takes me to the next card. But then in the list, it'll mark that card so that it will come back probably sooner. Like if I clicked one of the higher numbers, it would give it a much larger interval before I come back. So like there's different algorithms for the flash tools, but most of the time I just use what I call the adaptive, which is kind of a spaced interval repetition type algorithm. So it took me to the next card. I'll hit show again.
처음이에요.
So note that you have the pop-up here as well. And this is enabled or disabled with this checkbox here. You click on that.
처음이에요.
You've got the same thing. Now, if you're in a words vocabulary page, you have a couple new buttons down here. For example, examples will show you some example sentences for the word. Now, the first time you click it for a word, it might take a while because if the example doesn't already exist, it will generate it. As it said down here, example generated. GT Language keeps a database of example sentences, so it will automatically just generate an AI-based sentence. And you can actually manage that list if you hit the Manage button, or if you went to the Resources drop-down, you'll see the examples here. But if I click it here, it will show it in context with this word. And it shows me that example sentence. I could add more sentences with the Generate button. I could manually add a sentence. I could delete sentences. With the buttons over here, I could move them around or insert. I can save the example to a study list, or I could shuffle them if I have multiple.
처음이에요.
Okay, now say that I've gone through with flashcards and studied these words. Now I want to study the sentences, so I can go over to the sentences flashcards. And I've got those flashcards as well.
한국은 이번이 세 번째 방문이에요.
I can change it to just
카드로 결제할 수 있어요.
where the front side of the card just plays the audio, so I can practice recognizing the sentence. I can change it so that it shows the English.
한국은 이번이 세 번째 방문이에요.
And now Korean, even though the writing system is pretty cool and fairly easy to learn, the problem is that they have so many vowels and they have different ways of combining the different sounds that the spelling can be challenging in Korea. So when I'm studying Korean, I also often use another configuration that shows the English and then wants me to type it in. I don't want to try typing that sentence. I don't even remember it. So let me hit check so I can see the result. Like
한국은 이번이 세 번째 방문이에요.
now it shows this because I didn't type in anything. But if I try, one little gotcha is that if you try to copy paste something with the word click on, it will insert some invisible spaces because of the underlying HTML. So I'll turn that off.
한국은 이번이 세 번째 방문이에요.
And now I'll copy and paste the sentence. And I can hit retry to retry it. I paste the sentence in. Now if I hit check,
한국은 이번이 세 번째 방문이에요.
it shows up in green, which means I typed it correctly. Now let me show what happens if you make a mistake. Like for example, let me say, click retry again. And let me kind of misspell this particle. Let me say, let's see, got to turn on the Korean typing. Let's say, let me use the U instead of Now I hit check. Oh, I guess the browser also has some spell checking, which is not always correct. But let me hit check again. Check again.
한국은 이번이 세 번째 방문이에요.
And it pointed out the error here. It also pointed out this erroneously. I guess maybe it got confused. But hopefully it's still useful, imperfect as it is. Then I can hit check again. And fix the error.
한국은 이번이 세 번째 방문이에요.
And then say I didn't really know it very well, so I hit 1 or 2. Takes me to the next sentence. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let me go back to the this card configuration.
한국은 이번이 세 번째 방문이에요.
Now, that question button you saw before, you have the same feature down here, except it's spelled out in a button. I click that, and it shows you the sentence, and you can do the same things that I showed you before. You can ask a question, you can break up the sentence, you can check it. Now, I'm showing you first the features that have to do with kind of like studying existing content. I'll show you some ways of creating your own content at the end, but for now let me stick to just studying existing content. So let me kind of switch gears and take you to another page which is a chatbot page where you can actually chat with the AI. To get there, you go via resources, and note up here that there's a number of useful features, like I have an online dictionary, I have a translation mechanism. For languages that support it, I have an inflect that will show you inflections. I have the examples that we looked at before. I have a forum down here, and the one I'm interested in right now showing you is this chatbot, so I'll click that. Now, there's kind of a little gotcha in my recording this video, in that because I'm doing this on a local network, it won't let me record audio. So I'm going to switch to a page with a local server where I'm on the same page. I've just got some different settings, different text typed in here. So this is the front page of the chatbot. Like it shows the target language there. And these fields, like you can kind of give the AI some hints about your characters. Like this would be your character. So I basically just typed in something about me, and I typed in a description of the AI character. And in scenario description, you can give the AI some suggestions about what topic or what things you want to talk about it, or how. Once you've done that, you can click Start New Chat to go ahead and do the chat. Or if you click this one, if you've already had a chat going, you can click that. I've already started a little chat, so I'll just kind of pick up where I left off so I can show you some features. I don't know why it took so long. Okay, so basically I've done this chat. Like the AI character started it off with I show that kind of like the greenish hue here. The ones in yellow are me. And with this translate button to the left, you can show the translations. You've got audio.
안녕하세요. 존 씨. 취미가 뭐예요?
Now, one feature I'm going to add, I'm going to add a play button so you can just play the whole conversation, but I haven't put that in yet. And you've got the familiar question button here, where you can break down the sentence. You've got a check button here. Now, we'll see this when we create some content, but and also when you type something, you can check it, and we will look at that in a minute. You can actually go back and edit previous conversations. It doesn't rerun the conversation, but unless you continue with some messages. And you can also delete messages, which will delete it up to that point. For example, let's say I wanted to restart the conversation from here. I'm going to click this, and there's a pop-up. I don't know if you can see that. I'll just say OK. And it deleted from there. And from here, I could type in a new message to save the typing time. I've got one I can kind of copy and paste from here. So say I've typed this in, and say I made a mistake. Like, for example, maybe I left out the object marker here. I can hit check. I guess the object marker is optional. Let me put in the wrong marker then. So it gives me a correction, which is probably not exactly what I meant, so I probably won't use it. But if you hit this button down here, you can basically copy the correction they give you to here. Or you could just send it directly from here. Let me kind of repaste that in. And hit send.
좋아요. 집에서 한국어를 어떻게 배워요?
Now it automatically played the audio because I've got that enabled here. You can also turn that off by toggling this disable audio button up here. You've got the word, the hover over word definitions as well as word click
새로운,
with the same kinds of things. Another feature is, suppose I just don't know how to say in Korean. I could type something in English. What did they say? Let's say, yes, it's fun. Oops, I'm still in Korean mode. Huh? Now hit the translate button. And it shows you a translation here, which you can then copy up here or send directly. Let me just continue that.
재밌어요. 좋아요. 집에서 한국어를 배울 때 보통 뭐로 공부해요?
And, I didn't demonstrate the record. So let's say you're going to record something, transcribe it. 한국어를 배우고 싶어요. 한국어. Oh, did I forget to say the object marker? Let me try that again. 한국어를 배우고 싶어요. There we go. And I can check. No problems. So we're good to go.
좋아요. 집에서 한국어를 배우고 싶어요.
I can just stop it. And I think that's pretty much my demonstration, except for one thing down here. One cool feature is that I can copy the chat to what is my equivalent of a clipboard. So I just click that. And it is now in the sandbox. And so this is a good time to go and show you an example of creating some content. Oh, except the problem is that this chat is on the other server and I want to go back to the other server. So but I can quickly do that over there. So let me switch to this other server. I've got a previous chat. I'll hit copy chat to Sandbox. And then let's go to the courses, and I'm going to create an entirely new course just to show you how that's done. You can add to an existing course, but let's start from scratch with just a test lesson. So actually, let me use the same one. Let me just delete this. And you come down here and say add course. Let's say Korean demo course. Description here. Now this master template, you can kind of define what kind of study content you want in a lesson or in a course. I'm going to select one I've made before called Vocabulary Group and hit Save. And it now created this course, Korean demo course, with a words, vocabulary, and sentences vocabulary study list. I'll show you how that can be useful later. Basically, when I add groups and lessons, you can basically click anywhere in the hierarchy if you've created the course or group with study lists, and get all those items in a group all together. Let's go and create a lesson, and you do that by hit edit course children, and up here in children edit, if I want to add a group, I would use this icon, but let's start out with a lesson. I'll hit add lesson, give it a name, my lesson. My description. And it's already shown here, but I'm going to select a vocabulary lesson that will create a lesson with a words vocabulary and a sentence vocabulary. And you can create your own masters up here under teacher masters, but because that'll make this video too long, I'll leave that for one of my other videos that shows you how to do that. So I'll just hit save. And say we are interested in studying a list of words. So I've clicked on the word study item, study list here, and now hit edit study list. It probably have to compile the page, and now it's going to now it shows me at the edit study list page, which is empty because there's no words item entered yet for this lesson. So let's just add a sentence manually. I can hit the plus sign here, which is for insert after or append. And because I'm a bit lazy, I don't want to have to type in all three languages. Let me just put in one. Frustrated. And hit translate. Oh, it gave me much more than I wanted. So let's just assume that the first one is correct, and I can delete these others. Probably, oh, for words, it probably pulled these from the dictionary. If it doesn't find it in a dictionary, then it will go to Google Translate. And I can hit save. And, suppose I already saved it and there was a mistake. I could go to edit and I could change it here. Notice that there's a check button here too, which will perform that check feature. I guess it wasn't a very good translation that I picked. So I can just pick their translation, say save and close. And you also have the question button up here. Let's see. How would you say frustrated as an emotion? Oh, well, it's the same thing. Oh, maybe not. I was looking I didn't look far enough. So this might be a better word. So let's close this and let's edit this and fix it. Let's see. Let me delete these. And say translate. I still don't know if it's the best word, but we'll go with what I have. And so you've got the word here in your study list. Now let me show you a feature for generating some content, generating study items. If you come down here and click the Generate button, I've already done this before. You can type in some constraints here, like even just a single word is often enough, and you can tell it how many items you want it to generate. If I put in a dash, it will infer it from the content. But let's say I want to keep it kind of small, so I'll say just 6. I'll hit generate. And it appended these items to the study list. And let's say I don't really want this word, so I'm just going to delete it. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but the play button here is kind of bluish, which means that it will auto-generate the word. I want to generate some kind of audio for the item that's part of the lesson. So I can come down here and select a voice. This Jimin is that's a female voice. I could change it to a male voice. And don't know why that's clicked, but then just hit add synthesized speech. And the button's now changed to more green button. So I have the audio, the kind of audio associated with the lesson.
기쁨, 슬픔,
Now, suppose I have this list and I want to, I go to the sentences vocabulary, but it's empty, of course. But suppose I want to use these words and generate some sentences to study. So let's do, it's a little different in this case because we're going from one study list to another. So we're going to use the export mechanism to do this. And so down here at the bottom, there's an export link. And I want to say examples to the sentences. And here you can enter some constraints for the AI. Let's see, I've already put in this from before. Beginner level, have each sentence have a subject and an object. You can kind of have a scenario. I don't know what that's going to do, which is kind of dangerous in a demonstration, but let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to have it synthesize the audio for me, and I'm going to have it use the female voice this time. So just go hit export. It says export completed. So let's go to the sentence vocabulary. And now we've got some stuff which wasn't really very creative. It just said at home. So I guess it just used that. But you could do some other things. Let's play around with this a little bit. Let me go to the edit study list page. Let me just delete these. I'll hit the delete selected button here, and you can make selections with the checkboxes here if you want to just delete a few. We're empty again, and let's use the generate button again. This time we're in a sentences vocabulary page, so it's going to generate sentences. This is one. This is actually the one I did for one of those lessons I showed you. It's a little bit long. Let's say about emotions. Refer to some common emotions. Let's see what happens here. Let me keep it small again. And here we go. Yeah. Interesting that it was all about I am. Let's say I don't like those. Let me do it again. And this time I'm going to add some additional constraints. Let's say use polite, informal speech for use a variety of subjects. Yeah, I think that's much better. And you've got these sentences. And so that's how you can kind of generate some of your own sentences. Alternatively, in there, you can actually list a bunch of English sentences, and it will basically give you some good translations. That's another way. You're pretty much just telling the AI what to do. But this is kind of the lowest level of generating content. Let's take it up a little higher. Oh, I forgot to show you one other AI feature. So let's stay on this page a bit. If you look at the study item buttons, you see this new button here called Transform. And you also have one down here that would apply to all the selected items. Let's do this one up here. You click that, and it shows you the study item here. And up here, you have transformation instructions. I guess I've hit this before, and I was wanting to change it to a formal level of speech. Let's go ahead and just do that. And it will show you the items down here. It's not yet saved, so you first have to hit save and close. Like you notice that it did change it. It changed it to the Imnida form. So I hit save and close. That's it for transform. Let's continue on. Suppose I have a list somewhere. For example, say I want to let's get some content to work with. Let me do the export, and this time I'm going to say pattern line, and I want it to export the Korean and the romanization and the English. This little cryptic thing is a pattern that you tell it how you wanted it to export. If you come over here and show field help, it will give you some. It will show you what all these substitution items are. But I won't get into that. I have other videos that talk about that. Let me just hit. Oh, but first, before I do that, let me just do it kind of, instead of outputting it to a file, let me just put it in a pane. So I'll hit export. So you see that it formatted it how I wanted it. Let me copy paste that and hit done. Takes me back to this page. Now let's go back to the edit page, and let me delete these. And let me import. Probably compiling the page. There we go. Pattern line, it's already at the pattern line. It's already got the format I have. So I can paste my stuff in here. And by the way, this flexible formatting mechanism, like you can copy and paste stuff from websites or from other sources. It's really pretty powerful, even though it seems like you have to be a programmer to understand how to do that substitution mechanism. I'll hit import. And there's my words. Let's create another lesson. Edit course children. Add a lesson. Chatbot session. Vocabulary lesson. Hit save. Let's come over to sentence vocabulary, edit study list. And now over here, sandbox, it's got a little number there. That means that there's 4 study items in our sandbox, the ones that we saved from the chat session. So if I hit paste, we now have the content from the chat session. Curiously, somehow it didn't do the word ones right. Maybe I can fix that. just say auto reset word runs. And now it's okay. So I've got a chat session. Oh, it looks like there's some things I need to fix. Oh, it didn't handle the quotes correctly. Huh. So I'll have to go in and fix that. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It still messes up the word runs. So I got a few bugs to work out. But if I go back to the study list page, we've got the text here, and I could study this in flashcards. So that's kind of the low-level way of kind of inputting content. I'm going to show you, so in this import, like say if I wanted to import something, I could import course, I could, there's all kinds of different formats you could use, some which may still work or may not. But I'm going to show you something called a wizard. If I come down here to edit course children, there's a button here that will let me create a lesson using what I call a wizard. And I have a few different wizard types here: a grammar lesson, a vocabulary lesson. These first two are make use of AI, and then the older ones, word list, text list, and also a YouTube wizard importer. Maybe I'll just pick one for now, and I can show you, for example, the YouTube exporter in a different video importer, or maybe I'll get to it. Let's see. Oh. I already had a title here from the last time I used it, so I'll just reuse it. And here you put in the constraints, like you just described the grammar topic that you want to cover. And you can have it synthesize audio for the words and sentences it's going to get. What it's going to do, it's going to create a document content item. And in that document, there will be some example sentences, and those example sentences will have words. And so it's going to extract those and put them into the sentences and words study lists. So let me just go ahead and run this. It's pretty slow. You'll see it down here. It's first generating the notes. And there's the lesson I created. Let's go take a look at it. So it's got this notes content item, and gives you a basic pattern. pattern, some examples, some example sentences, showing how to do negatives, and it even gives you a little practice you can do here. Now these example sentences we should be able to find over here. Yep. And I also asked it to, in the internal prompt, to pull out important words from the example sentences in case you don't know them. So it pulled out all these words from the example sentences. So basically in just a couple minutes, I created a grammar lesson. One item I skipped over when I was doing the grammar lesson is you have the option of creating an audio file with a lesson. To demonstrate this, I want to kind of go a little bit lower level, and let's first do an example of doing it just by creating a media item and doing the audio generation there. So let's go back to my lesson, the first lesson we created, and hit edit lesson content, and let's add a new content type. It's already set here at audio and review, which is what I want. So I'll hit the plus, and I could change the settings here. One setting I want to change is I'm going to have it, I want to review words and then sentences. So I'm going to swap this field here, which is where the audio will get its source from. I'll hit save. And now we have a new audio review item in our lesson. It's showing as red, and this is grayed out because we haven't put any content into it. So directly from here, I can hit the generate button. It's also found down here at the bottom if you're in the player itself. And I'm going to have it use a predefined template for generating the audio. I'll select on one that will do a review for words and sentences. And it basically gets that markup template and puts in the code here. Now what this is like a little programming language kind of built based on XML. This generate keyword here tells it this is going to be used for generating some audio. And it has elements for doing various things, like this one will speak the lesson title. This one will just speak this text. It's in brackets because there might be an automated translation process that goes on if you were doing this generating in a different language. And this each element is going to loop over a selected study list in a certain algorithm or mode. And within that element, you can do some items like this is going to speak the target language version of the item, the host. Then this will say the target one again at a slow speed, and this one will repeat it at a normal speed. So basically, it's kind of like a review, and you can do shadowing, that is where you can repeat after. I also do this for the sentences, which is a little different because I put in a pause so you have longer to repeat the sentence. Up here, the silence that's at the end of the word already is long enough. So if I hit generate, it's going to take a few seconds here. And it's done. And if I hit done,
my lesson. First the words. Please repeat.
We're now in the media list.
기쁨,
joy,
기쁨, 기쁨,
please repeat,
슬픔,
Yeah, basically when I hit done, it took me straight to the media item directly. And this has been demoed in other videos, but I'll give you a quick overview of it. You have the since this media item is tied to two study lists, it's going to show both of them with a title. If you click on one, it will jump to that area, and like you can just hit play.
슬픔,
sadness,
There's also a single step feature, so I can single step through the video
분노,
and it will stop at the end.
두려움,
And so forth. It just so happens that it's only stopping at the Korean. You can also go backwards,
분노,
and you can repeat,
분노,
and you also have the looping options over here too. You can change the speed. Here, say make it really slow, 50%.
두려움,
And oh, I forgot to mention the subtitles are displayed up here. And if you have word click on,
my lesson,
you've got hover over here.
슬픔,
Like if I went down to the sentences, you've got the hover over here too. And I guess that's enough. Now, let me show you the vocabulary lesson wizard. Let's go back up to here. And we'll hit Edit Course Children. And the Add Lesson Wizard. I'll select Vocabulary Lesson. Or maybe let's do the YouTube wizard, since I've already got it set up here. I've got a video here, and one feature this has is that you can do pre-processing. Like if you selected this, you could enter some instructions, like if you wanted to extract, just the Korean or something. Let's see, there's a lot of options here. I don't think I'll spend all the time in going through them, but I want to get the study item model. I want to get the thumbnail. I'll translate missing items. This video I got has Korean human subtitles, but it's not English, so I'll have to translate them. And I'll do it in the background. And instead of running the wizard, which takes a long time, I've already run this. So at least I think I have. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Here it is. Like if you go to the video lesson, it loads up. It doesn't start playing because it requires some user interaction. But I can just play the video.
안녕하세요. 톡투메인 코리안의 박주연입니다. 수다타임 이번 에피소드에서는요.
So you've got the subtitles down here with the word click. and you can jump around. Now, a lot of times I don't really I use the YouTube API for playing the video, but a lot of times the subtitles are just not timed very well, and so I'll do a video without the subtitles. Let's go look at the sentences. See, I've got the sentences, and I told it to generate, or did I? Let me see.
수다 타임 이번 에피소드에서는요. 현우 선생님과 경은 선생님이
I guess this video had better quality subtitles, so I didn't override them with synthesized subtitles. But you can also do that. There's other options as well. But so like if I were to go back here, like if I changed, like here I set the subtitle language. If I went here, instead of selecting YouTube, if I did, I could do audio or video or none. If I don't know, I don't know if you can see that pop up, but it says none, YouTube, video, audio. If I selected none, then it would just extract the subtitles and put them in a sentence list. And a lot of times that's what I do, since I just want to study the sentences anyway. Then I can go back in the YouTube webpage and look at the video. Okay, I went ahead and generated this lesson already, so you don't have to wait around for it while it generates. But let me show you the options page. You want to select up here, select Wizard Vocabulary Lesson. I gave it a title of Emotions, and oh, this needs changing. It didn't save it, curiously. And for word constraints, okay, this is basically the main prompt to the AI about what to generate the vocabulary list about. As we saw in the lesson earlier, it was enough just to say emotions. And I'm going to do 6 again. And optionally, I can generate example sentences using those words. And then you have the constraints here. I'll do 1 sentence per word, and I'll generate audio for the words and sentences. And I'm going to use that words and sentences review markup template. And I'm also going to generate a notes document. I probably don't need one for a vocabulary lesson, but just in case. Maybe there's something special about Korean. And I'll synthesize the missing audio. And I would hit Run Wizard, and off it would go for about 45 seconds. Instead, let's hit Cancel. And I've got the lesson already here, Emotions. I've got the words vocabulary, the 6 common emotions. I've got audio. I've got example sentences. Now note, the first time you hit a study list page, it may take a little while. Doing the word parsing on Korean, that by which I mean segmentation, like breaking up the word, finding out where the word boundaries are, I use a third-party tool, and it's a little slow, so it takes a little while sometimes when you have a number of sentences. But these are our sentences. Oh, maybe I should have asked them to generate simpler sentences. I could go back and do that, but and we've got the audio lesson.
Emotions. First the words. Please repeat.
기쁨,
Joy.
And we've got that just like we saw before. And let's see what they came up with the notes. See, all 6 words are nouns. Okay. And it pairs them with particles and helper words to express, feel, or be filled with an emotion. This is the first time I'm seeing it, and I don't really know much about using emotion words, so I'll leave it as an exercise to go back and read this sometime. And we've got some example sentences. And that's the main things. Those are the main things I wanted to demonstrate. I still have some other AI features in mind. For example, I think it would be cool if I could have a course wizard where I could tell it, to generate me an entire course about maybe for a whole language, maybe for just some level of language. And it would go through and first create an outline, and then you'd have the option of, creating it all at once, which you probably won't want to do. You probably want to have a look at the outline first and maybe edit it. But you could conceivably generate the whole thing from the start. And I also want to do some work about maybe getting better definitions, like for the pop-up stuff and translating. Maybe involve some AI there and get definitions and context. So, thanks for watching this very long video. I'll put the link to GT Language in the description.